It's time for Around the Ozarks Wake Up Weather, sponsored by Scooters Coffee and Rescue Towing. Here's your host, meteorologist Abby Dyer.
Good morning, everyone, and happy Tuesday. It is August 6th, and we are waking up with temperatures that are warm once again. Numbers near 70 degrees as of 5 a.m., and today is the hottest day of the work week. It's all downhill from here once we get past these temperatures today. Numbers may be approaching 100 degrees for the actual high temperature. Got about 98 going for us in Springfield today, so it will be a toasty one outside. Anybody planning those outdoor activities, just make sure you use caution. UV index through the roof today. I'm expecting mostly sunny skies and temperatures that will be in the upper 90s, approaching 100. Factor in the relative humidity. It will feel a bit warmer than that. We've got numbers that will feel more like 105 degrees. A cold front is on the way, but it's not quite here yet today. So behind that cold front, we're talking tomorrow, the rest of the work week, we're going to see this drier air mass, which means lower dew point temperatures, not much of a sticky feeling in the air for the rest of the week. Front's not here for us yet, though. We're still on the warm side of this cold front, and that means heat index values today will be near 105 degrees. Hot across the Ozarks and not letting up much through the course of the afternoon. That frontal boundary will officially come through by Wednesday. You won't notice much aside from the wind shift on Wednesday. Temperatures still look very warm Wednesday afternoon. I've still got us up into the mid 90s tomorrow. So it's not going to be this immediate relief. But what happens over the next several days is a cooler air mass overall is going to start settling into the Ozarks by the weekend. It will be cooler and we head into late in the week, and this will bring temperatures back into the 80s for highs by late in the week. Some locations Friday and into the weekend may even see highs in the low 80s. That's going to be up closer to central Missouri and our northern counties, but it's going to be a nice change for us. Not quite as blazing hot. I know everybody's getting ready for back to school time in the Ozarks, and it'll be nice to have some cooler temperatures to enjoy as that season approaches. Cooler weather for the second half of the week. This should last into the weekend, and we also have very minimal rain chances in this forecast. We're still doing okay in terms of the drought monitor. The ground is fairly saturated at points across the Ozarks, so we're not really starved for rain. But by the end of this period, we may want another little shower because I have little to no rain in this extended forecast. Contrast with that, what's going on the East Coast, and they are talking catastrophic flooding from Debbie. I mean, torrential rains, that slow moving storm system, just bringing day after day of rain, heavy rain, storm surge, severe weather. Multiple hazards and significant impacts happening across the southeastern part of the country from Debbie. And this is including tornadoes, flooding, the Carolinas, Georgia, much of the East Coast going to see some of that strong to severe weather from Debbie. A frontal zone is also setting up from the plains to the Great Lakes to the Northeast. And this is going to cause a severe weather chance and thunderstorms along with excessive rainfall chances for those parts of the country. So very active out east, while we have kind of several calm days and actually a cooler pattern for us setting up across the middle part of the country over the next several days. All right, it's time for the Around the Ozarks Wake Up Weather Brain Twister Trivia question for the day. The question that I left you with yesterday has to do with some spices. What is the world's most expensive spice? The options that I gave you were A, saffron, B, nutmeg, C, cloves, or D, black pepper. If you guessed A, saffron, you would be correct. And I feel like of the list, saffron's probably the least used for good reason. It's very expensive. It is the world's most expensive spice, retailing for $10 to $20 per gram. If you wanted to buy a pound of saffron, $9,000. It is crazy expensive, more valuable than caviar, truffles, and other luxury foods in that category. And the high price tag here is brought to you by several factors, including a very labor-intensive production process. It requires hand harvesting and processing. The flowers from saffron only bloom for a few days in late September or early October, and they have to be harvested very early in the morning to avoid sun damage to maintain the proper flavor. It's kind of crazy. Each flower contains only 3 stigmas or threads that have to be pulled off individually, and it can take thousands of flowers to produce just 1 ounce of saffron. So it's kind of a crazy process. I actually watched an episode of the Business Insider series, So Expensive, on this, and it's fascinating to see the images of how this is actually harvested. The stigmas of those flowers, they're dried over several days in this perfect environment. They have to get the exact flavor and aroma that they want out of that. So kind of crazy. Also, supply and demand is an issue. Saffron is grown in countries like Iran, India, and Greece. They are less expensive to import from than from Western Europe. And there's also a low yield. The low yield is a problem. It can take 170,000 flowers to produce a pound of saffron. So I guess that's why it has the high price tag and why not a lot of things have saffron in them, because it's just hard to get. But congrats if A, saffron was your guess. Here's the next brain twister trivia question for you. The next chance to win $20 to Scooter's Coffee. What is a group of ferrets called? Do you think it is A, gaggle, B, a business, C, a murder, or D, a streak? A group of ferrets. Do you know this one? Would you like to take a guess? You can do so at aroundtheozarks.com. That's how you can enter the brain twister trivia question. While you're there, make sure to enter our anniversary contest to win tickets to Jim's Steakhouse, Wonders of Wildlife, and Alamo Drafthouse. A perfect weekend fun giveaway happening. Free to enter over at aroundtheozarks.com. Thanks so much for listening early this morning. And thank you to Scooter's Coffee and Rescue Towing for sponsoring Around the Ozarks Wake Up Weather. I'm meteorologist Abby Dyer, and I'll be back to chat with you early tomorrow morning. Stay warm today.